Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tayler Yarish Show, episode 27. 27. Riding on fumes a little bit right now. Didn't get much sleep last night. It is what it is, you know? But we're here. It's all here. We're plugged in. I don't know how this place is not blown up by now. I mean, we have like 3 power strips, all of them filled to the brim. And then the power strips are plugged into walls, which have their own power strip extension. I mean, we're going on like 24 different outlets, with everything just, you know, soaking up the juice. So I don't know how we haven't blown this thing up, because nothing in this apartment usually works, and the fact that we haven't had so much as a spark is pretty much a miracle, I would say. And yeah, the power strips they have, you know, they got surge protectors, but I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Anything that has protector in the name, it's probably not going to work here. You know, there's not much here that works. So, I don't know if I trust a surge protector. So, I mean, do we need to have everything plugged in all the time? Maybe not. You know, maybe if we're not printing, we don't need to have the printer in, and we don't need to have the PlayStation in, and I don't need to be charging a giant scooter battery plus 2 JBL speakers plus my computer plus this, you know, podcasting equipment, a camera, a giant fill light. I mean, I'm asking for a fire. I really am. I'm asking for a fire. I think I just for fun, I kind of want to just take the fridge and plug it into one of the surge protector, you know, because the fridge is plugged into its own outlet right now, but I kind of just want to plug it into a power strip and just see what happens, you know, because there's got to be a limit. They don't tell you that. I mean, that's like, there's one thing, there's no we put warning labels on everything. There's no warning. There's nothing that lets you know, like, hey, asshole, this is it. One more and we're out. You know what I mean? There needs to be like some kind of light that flashes just before you blow the shit up. You know what I mean? Because who knows? I could plug something in and walk out the door, because that's, you know, just how I roll. And then I come back to no things. So that'd be, I don't know. Someone look into that. Someone smarter than me, go and make some kind of warning for that, so we don't lose all our shit. Just came back today from a 1-day, pretty much, you know, 24-hour camping trip in upstate with a few friends, and boy, you know, it is good. It's good to get away. I love, you know, you got to step in. If you live in the city, you got to step into some trees every once in a while just to keep your sanity. I don't know what it is about chopping and gathering wood, but it makes me feel like a man. I'll say it. There's something about that activity, about chopping trees down, bringing them back to the site. Yeah, that's what you call it, the site. And then building a fire. It's like, I don't know, it just warms me up inside. And nobody talks about how it's a great, you know, if you're feeling shitty, go chop a tree down, okay? Go walk outside, chop your neighbor's tree down, start cutting it up and building little Lincoln logs, and then set it on fire in their front yard, because you'll feel amazing. All right? And no one wants to say this. No one wants to give this kind of advice. All right? Gary Vee's not telling you to chop down trees. It's because he knows it would work and it would put him out of a job. Okay? There's nothing that Gary Vee or Tim Robbins or any of these cucks can say that would make you feel as good as just sawing down one of Mother Nature's trees, chopping it up, and setting it on fire. It really will. It'll connect you back, and you'll be like, man, I don't need to read my tweets. You know what I mean? I don't need any of this. I just need to be here in this moment, one with nature, sawing wood. That's, you know, it feels so, I mean, that's what I'm going to do from now on. You don't need fucking melatonin and CBD or, you know, see your therapist twice a week. You know what I mean? Just find out if it works for you. And I'm sure it does. That's going to be my thing. It's going to be my trick. Anytime I have a tough week, I'm going to go into Central Park and saw down a tree and then run from the park rangers because it's highly illegal to do that. But you know what? No one can stop me. I'm going to live my dream, and that's my dream, to just go and chop wood. Makes me feel powerful. Makes me feel strong. And so we went on this camping trip, and that was about the only moment it was like with 9 guys. And it's the only moment on the camping trip where I felt like, oh, I feel like a big, strong man. Because this, let me tell you something. This asshole, Tom Luciano, who set this whole thing up, good buddy of mine. But let me tell you how much of an asshole this guy is, okay? He emasculated, without saying it, and no one else brought it up, but we're all feeling it. He emasculated everybody on the trip, because this is what this guy did, okay? This campsite is in not upstate, it's maybe like an hour or so away. So he gets up and goes to the campsite at 6 o'clock in the morning, builds a fire, okay? Buries a brisket under the fire, and then keeps the fire going, drives back to the city, picks us all up in a truck that he rented, drives us back, and then a couple hours or so into the camping trip, into the hang, he unearths a brisket, and it tastes amazing. I mean, at that point, why are we even trying anymore? I mean, there's more to this. I'm gonna get to it. But just right there, that alone, the balls to bury a brisket and be like, this is gonna work out. I'm gonna make this happen. You left food in a place and left it and then came back and just, you know what I mean? And just like, it'll work itself out. Oh man, I wish I had that. Wish I had that confidence. Then this is what this asshole does. He sends us a text. Hey, don't worry about the sleeping arrangements because I have enough tents and sleeping bags for all of you. And we're like, well, surely you must be mistaken because there's 9 of us, okay, who has that many tents and that many sleeping bags. And we get up there, sure as shit, pick a sleeping bag, grab a tent, grab a buddy, set your tent up. I mean, is there anything more emasculating than just being like, I will provide transportation. I'm going to drive you up there. We're going to gather the wood. And then I will put food in your stomach and a roof over your head. Now, night, okay? I mean, maybe no one else felt it. Maybe it was just me. But that's why when he was like, it's time to gather wood, I was gathering wood like a motherfucker. Because if I'm not cooking the food and if I'm not, building a shelter, you damn well sure I'm going to make that goddamn fire. You better believe it. And it was I don't have one goddamn thing to say about that trip where I'm like, man, he could have done this better. I mean, he thought of everything. Buried the brisket. He brought fucking trout in a cooler to cook the trout on the fire. I mean, he had Hebrew National hot dogs, Bubba burgers, fucking potatoes and carrots that we buried into the fire. He let us experiment with that. Wasn't going to let us touch the brisket or the fish or any of the proteins really, but he's like, you can fuck around with a potato. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus, that is not like any camping experience that I've ever gone on as a child. I mean, or as an adult, any point in my life. Camping for me is driving to a place. There's already shit set. You have a little square of land, and then you set up your camp, and there's a family 6 feet from your camp in every direction. That's what camping is that I'm used to. But no, we were up in this sprawling, open area, eating trout, drinking beers. This is what I will say. And it doesn't get the credit that it fucking deserves. I ran the music. I ran the Spotify queue from the moment we got there until we went to sleep. It was a solid 10 or 11 hours, which for those of you who know and who have operated the aux cord or the Spotify queue, it's fucking exhausting. There's so much to balance. People don't realize. People think you're just playing music. Oh, you throw in a good playlist. No, 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 no. There's so much going on. You gotta. I mean, what is the dynamic of the group? What's the hang? There's so many different interests. People are throwing requests your way. Hey, bro, I'm not fucking. Not some DJ. This is my thing. This is my brisket. Okay, this is my brisket. So people are throwing shit left and right. And you want to start it with some hits, some oldies maybe. Get people in the mood. We're rocking, we're cooking. And then as the sun goes down, you have to bring the tempo down a little bit. You got to bring the mood, you got to change it up. Maybe go more acoustic. You know what I mean? You can't be just rocking out, blaring Stranglehold at 11 o'clock when everyone's trying to, be existential and stare into the fire. Can't do that. You got to play some John Mayer. Got to play a little Gravity. You know what I mean? It's in the fourth quarter of the camping trip is where it gets really heavy because you balance that line of like, oh, this is the perfect mood music, and you're balancing that with like you're right on the line of like, this is the perfect music for this mood, and also, are we about to make love to everybody? You know what I mean? Like there's some songs where you're like, what are we doing here? Are you trying to set us up for something? But it's exhausting. Everyone else can just sit back and enjoy all of the hang and everything, and I gotta I gotta keep an eye on this thing. I set like 7 songs in a row, and then we're getting down to 1 or 2, and I gotta start thinking ahead again. I'll say it's more exhausting than the brisket. I mean, I think that it's a bigger responsibility than food and water and shelter. I'll say that. That's what I'm going to say. And did I get a thank you? No. What I got was on the ride home, everybody nitpicking the one song that seemed out of place. Okay. I put on a cover of Free Falling in a very vulnerable moment when everyone was just staring into the fire, and it was a little much. I'll be honest. It was a little much. It's like, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to cry? I mean, I thought it was I liked the song out of that context. I slipped up once, and that's all everybody talked about. Remember when the Free Falling song came on and we had to like break the silence because it was weird? Yeah, okay, but what about the 9 hours before when it was just seamlessly in the background, and every time the next song came on, someone was like, oh, dude, killer tune. Oh, this song rips. Huh? Where's all that? Nobody's throwing that out there, are they? Just saying. So, I just want to say I have some things to claim on this trip. I chopped the wood and I played the music. And so I just want someone to acknowledge that. And you think you can walk away feeling good about yourself. And then you think you did something. And you're like, all right, I can live with myself. I wasn't totally outdone. And then Tom has the balls to send a text. Hey, make sure you check for ticks. Oh, God. I mean, just when you think you can respect yourself, he goes, don't forget to check for ticks. Boom. I mean, just the camping dad move of all time right there. Don't forget to check for ticks and be careful with the axe. I mean, what are you going to do? There has to be one. There has to be one. And it was Tom. But it was a good trip. It had everything that you wanted in a trip. And you need to stare into the fire. You got to stare into the fire at the end of the night. Because, that's another one of those things where you're just like, oh, this is like in us. This is like in us to just stare at the flames and just, I don't know what that is. But everybody's got that. Everybody has that. You know what not everybody has? The ability to roast a fucking marshmallow. I mean, It drives me up a wall when people don't know how to properly cook a marshmallow and roast a marshmallow. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you could tell a lot about a person. The way you cook a marshmallow is you put it on the end of the stick, and if you're one of these fucking assholes who like brings their own marshmallow like professional stick that you like bought at Walmart, I already don't trust you. If you're not, if it's not a stick that you broke off of a tree, get out of my face. So you stick it on the end of the stick, and then it doesn't take much. You have to just rest it above the flame, not in the fire, you fucking animals, above the flame, and it takes a little bit of patience, okay? Just slowly turning it, it's like the halal meat when they roast the lamb. They turn it slowly. It's a low and slow. That's how it gets nice. So with the marshmallow, you above the flame, low and slow turn until it gets a even golden brown texture. Then you take it off, because then the outside's going to have a little bit of pop, a little crisp, and then the inside is all melty, okay? If you're one of these animals that just takes it and shoves it directly into the center of if it's right next to the embers, and then you pull it out and it's on fire, and then you blow out the fire and you're like, look, it's good. It's not good. You ruined it. You got to burn outside and the inside is still all together and solid, and then it doesn't spread evenly on the graham cracker when you're making a s'more. I mean, who raised you? Who raised you people? It's a low and slow. That's what you want. That's what you want in a marshmallow. These people I swear to God, these people kid themselves. They're like, no, I like it like this, where it like bubbles up on the outside and it's like pretty much black. That doesn't taste as good. It just doesn't. If you disagree, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I mean, and so that's another one where I felt like I could prove myself, prove my worth, is I had to demonstrate to some folks how to do the marshmallow properly. We had all these plans too, and we did none of them. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go crawdad fishing, and we'll swim in the creek, and we're gonna go on a hike, and nope, just sat around the fire and riffed for 10, 11 hours and drank and ate so much food. I don't know what it is, like something about an event where I will eat 3 times my fucking body weight. I mean, I must have had, like, as an appy, we roasted the carrots and the potatoes. I don't know why we did that first. We were just like eating potatoes out of tinfoil, like, it's the fucking Irish famine or something. I ate like a whole potato, 3 carrots, and then somebody was throwing dogs on, so I had 2 hot dogs, and then there was some trout, so we ate some of the trout, and then I had like 3 brisket sliders. And then I had 2 s'mores. 2 s'mores, rather. I mean, that's way too much food. It's way too much food. It's still most of it's still in me. I don't know. I think I had the travel constipation or whatever, like new environment. I slept on the ground. Wasn't great, I'll be honest. I had all the tools, but it just wasn't, you know what I mean? It's like you're outside, you're sleeping on a pad, you have I was like hot and cold. We had like a rain cover over our tent, so there was no air that could pass through, so it was just like a hot box in the morning, and the dudes and people farting. It's rough. It was rough. I didn't sleep well. We went to bed around midnight. I got up at 2:30, and then I eventually woke up at 6, and then I was just up. I mean, I went into deep sleep for about 30 seconds, and that was it. And my throat was fucking dry. And that happens too when I leave the window open when I go to sleep. Like, I know fresh air is like great and everything, but every time I sleep in fresh air, I wake up and I can't breathe. You know what I mean? I don't know if that happens to anybody else or it's just me, but yeah, it was rough. And then there was a water shortage. We woke up and there was no water. So, there's people just like trying to quench their thirst with Sprite in the morning. I mean, it was not a good look. We had a good day yesterday. The morning was pretty rough. But it was beautiful, man. Every time I go into nature, I have like those conflicting thoughts about like how I want to live my life, because I see both things. I see the city living, and then I also see the living in the middle of nowhere on a piece of land. I like both of them, but I can't, you know what I mean? There's no nice middle ground, and it's not the suburbs. It's not. It's a completely different thing. There's the city, and then there's the middle of the nowhere. Those are the only things I'll accept. I like the city. I like the convenience of it. I like the unpredictability. Will a homeless man shit on the subway car today? We don't know, and that's what we like. I like, the energy, the hustle and bustle, the grind, if you will. It is a young man's game, I'll say that, but I like it. I like just the bebopping around, and there's all the people that you don't know, and you go sit at a diner by yourself, and you overhear the people sitting next to you, and then they're speaking, and then they walk home in the same direction. You find out they're your next door neighbor, and they've lived next to you for 5 years, but you didn't know because you don't talk to anybody. Like I like that about the city. And then I also like, living in the middle of nowhere. And Jesus Christ, I like living in the middle of nowhere, where you have like a long driveway, and you see somebody pulling up your driveway, and it's like weird. You're like, who the fuck is it? You like greet him with a gun. You're like, who are you? I want that as well. I want to be able to call whatever I live on. I want to use the word property. I want to take guests on a property tour. Be like, oh yeah, this is the line of elm trees that I used to mark the property line. Planted a row of trees a couple years back. They came in nice. We had a nice few seasons of rain these past years, so yeah, they grew in nice. I did put a fence behind it so the cattle were free to graze. Got a lot of cattle. Got a lot of fauna on the property. You know what I mean? I like that as well. There's either so many people and you're just used to it and you don't know anybody, but the proximity doesn't really bother you, or it's the opposite where nobody's around, and if anybody gets close, you're like, they're here to murder me and I have the right to defend myself. You know what I mean? Like the other day, Kate and I were just sitting on the couch, and we heard like keys jingling by our front door. And I'm like, that sounds like right at our front door. Like it sounds like somebody's trying to open our door. And so I go to a little peephole thing, which I'm always nervous to look through the peephole, because I've seen too many movies, and they always look through the peephole, and then there's a gun on the other end and they get blown away. Still, irrational fear. Think about it every time. So I look through the peephole, and there's this woman right outside our door with a key in our keyhole trying to open our door. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's interesting. Let me open the door and see what's up. I opened the door, and I almost said sorry. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I was just like, hi, how are you? Hello? Can I help you? Can I help you? She was like, oh, I'm sorry. My friend gave me the keys to watch her dog. I must have the wrong... Oh, no, don't worry about it. Absolutely don't worry about it. You're trying to enter our home. It's fine. Like, if you lived in... The difference between that and then living, like, in the middle of nowhere, where if that happened, if you were just sitting on the couch watching Netflix and somebody tried to enter your home, you're like, I guess... We're killing people today. I guess that's what's happening, because they must be here why else would they be here? So those are just two different mindsets, but I have both of those in me. I kind of want both. And yes, this is why people have multiple homes, and, they have apartments in the city, and then they have a vacation home, a forest rental, if you will. But yeah, I would like both of those. I want to walk the property line. You ever walk a property line with somebody that has a property? They're talking about acreage and shit. Yeah, there used to be no trees over here. There was no trees. Planted all these trees. And then we cleared out these trees. We put in a bed of rose bushes because we thought the rose bushes would be better. You know what I mean? People were like, that's their shit. In the city, they're like, oh, I found this this nice little steel, this art piece. Somebody just put it out in the trash, and I thought that would look good in our home. So we just took the trash and then we hung it on the wall. Isn't that cool? That's what like you show people when they come over your house. You show them the trash that other people didn't want that you thought would look good in your apartment. You know? Like you want to that's how you blow people away. You're like, "Yeah, this couch you're sitting on, free. Got it on the side of the road. Can you believe that? Side of the road. Somebody threw this out. Can you believe that?" You know? So there's two things, and one's not better than the other. That's all I'm saying. We did Kate and I did something I haven't done in a while, which another thing where it's like, go do it. It's good for you. We got a massage. We got a couples massage, which really I never got a couples massage. It's you're both getting a massage in the same room. And I didn't know I'm like, it was kind of weird. You're like, are we supposed to be like talking right now? Are we supposed to pretend like these people aren't here? And it was it was like a class pass or a Groupon, one of these deals. And you never know what you're going to get with these things. I'm always nervous to like walk in because I feel like, I'm like, oh, I'm the only one here. They're just kind of standing there waiting for you. Like the owner was like outside smoking a cigarette when we walked up. And we're like, all right, this should be good. And then we get up there. They're like, oh, yeah, we've been expecting you. They check their calendar as if there's anybody like, which appointment is it? It's like, you fucking know. You know who we are. It's 3:00. How many appointments do you have? They're looking at oh, yeah, that's right. We do run a business. So they bring us back to this room. And they never give you like enough time to get like naked, basically. It's like, yeah, get under the sheet and do this. They closed the door. The woman came back like 2 minutes later. You ready? No, we're not. We'll say when we're ready. The fuck? So we get under the towel, and then you put your face in the thing, and they came in. And so Kate's on the right of me. There's a guy and a girl. Or a man and a woman, I should say. And they gave Kate the man and me the woman. Don't know why. And so Kate just starts laughing uncontrollably. Can't contain herself. And I don't want to say something because I know I'm just going to make it worse. And so it was like an hour-long massage. My masseuse was clearly better. I mean, this guy that she had didn't know what the hell he was doing. I mean, just kind of poking her in different places. It was kind of a bummer. And, so then that happened. We're all, like, oiled up. We get the massage. And then we leave. We go to this place called Oscar Wilde to get a drink and, like, have some dinner and stuff. And we're sitting there, and, we're both people watchers. We like to watch the people and judge them. I'll say it. We judge them, me more so than her, I'll say. And there was this old guy who walks up with, like, this young girl, and you're like, oh, fuck, look at this asshole. He's got, like, army pants on and, like, a leopard shirt and a top hat. You're like, fuck you, dude, Fuck this guy, and he's with some young girl, and they both look like they're on something maybe. And so they sit outside next to us. They're at the table over. And the whole time we're just like, this fucking douche. And at one point in the night, the guy's up. He's kind of, you could tell he's drunk. He's kind of just like dancing around. And he like walks 2 steps, and he's like dancing right next to Kate, like right in front of her. And I'm looking at him like, what the hell? And then he leans down and he says, I'm sorry, he had an Irish accent. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, hey, Charles, get him a drink. And he just ordered us a round of drinks. Shook my hand. He's like, hey, how are you? Order them a round of drinks on us. And it's amazing how little you need to do to win me over. Bought us a round of drinks, shook my hand. I'm like, this guy rocks. This guy's the best. And didn't need to do that. And then he ordered us the drinks and then like walked away, disappeared for like 20 minutes. And we didn't need the drinks. We didn't even finish the ones that we had beforehand. But now we felt obligated to sit there and drink them. Yeah. And then we were about to leave and he wasn't there. And so we just thanked the girl that he was with. And she was like, oh, thank you so much for coming. So we think he was the owner. Not sure. But, shit like that doesn't happen in the middle of the woods. So there's one point in the city column. But then again, you have to have weird, creepy massages by people you booked off Groupon, and that doesn't really happen in the woods, does it? No, you just sit there with your thoughts, controlling a Spotify queue. You know what I mean? Maybe you're out there burying brisket for no one to see. God, that's a fucking move. We're not putting it on a smoker. No, we're gonna use the earth as the smoker. That's what we're doing. That's our move. God damn. You feel like a man until someone pulls a fucking move like that. Fuck you, Tom. Oh, boy. All right. That's the podcast this week. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you back next week. Yeah. See you then. Peace.